Greetings. Frederick Riddle here with another Christian News and Views, episode 167. Today is Tuesday. If you're unfamiliar with the racial slur, which um, I believe it was Eric Trump that used it, uh, the Oxford defines the derogatory term as a person belonging to the division of humankind including the indigenous peoples of East Asia, Southeast Asia, and the Arctic region of North America. Now, I'm not going to quote the slur. If you've been following news at all, you know what it is. So, then it says here in the article, then you look at the other side of the country. Go to LA. You look at an overpass where these, and this is what Eric Trump is saying. Look at an overpass where these mongoloids are throwing cinder blocks at cops and cop cars and ravaging them. I mean, there was a fleet of cop cars that were completely destroyed. Now, I did have to end up quoting the word. It's a it's really a descriptive word, not really. They call it a slur, but it's really a word that defines a group of people. But be that as it may, it shouldn't have been done. But what's progress on here? No Kings is the largest coalition across all 50 states and planned the No Kings Day of Defiance as a peaceful stand against authoritarian overreach and the gross abuse of power this administration has shown. More than 1,800 rallies across the country took place on Saturday, June 14, coinciding with the many anti-immigration rallies spreading across the U.S. On Monday, Trump said that his decision to send in the National Guard had stopped LA from burning down. But California Governor Gavin Newsom has objected to their deployment and accused the president of stoking the unrest. Demonstrators took to the streets of LA on Friday after news broke that ICE agents were raiding areas with large Latino populations, and the protests have continued for 4 days. Now, the rest of that article is nothing but anti-Trump spin. I'll touch on it, but in my opinion, that's about it. So I'm not going to report on it. So, as I was saying, the rest of the article engaged in spin, shifting the reporting, if it can be called that, to the tiff that Trump and Musk had with one another. That has cooled off and is no longer a news item, in my opinion. It doesn't even belong in the article. The racial slur is demeaning the way it is projected. And I wasn't there, and I can only go by what I've read. But it is considered a racial slur nowadays. Everything almost is considered a racial slur. You got to be very careful what you say. But that doesn't excuse him if that does come across something as an intent of a racial slur. And racial slurs are demeaning. But folks, it does not kill, injure, or harm people. Hurts their feelings, yes, but it doesn't kill them, injure them, or harm them. Destruction of property does, whether it's personal property, business property, or the government property. And those cars that were destroyed, were there police cars or policemen inside those cars when they were being struck? It sounds like they were on an overpass. This thing was being thrown down at them as they were apparently on the road down below. So it could have very easily, and I don't know of any reports saying that anybody was injured, but it very easily could have injured somebody, hurting them seriously. When you dig deeper into the No Kings movement, you discover that the peaceful, nonviolent events were anything but nonviolent. Now, they put the blame on the police and say that the police used tear gas and rubber bullets. Possible. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you're aware of this or not. I think you are. But tear gas and rubber bullets, in case you don't know it, that is far, far better than real bullets or worse. What has not been widely reported was that the nonviolent protesters were throwing bottles, concrete, and rocks at the police. I think the police showed remarkable restraint. Moreover, ICE agents were threatened and felt in danger. They were just men and women who work for our government and were doing their job. Their job is to go out and arrest illegal immigrants, which there's a lot in California, there's a lot all over the United States. And so they were doing their job. They weren't operating out of hate. They weren't operating out of some agenda that they had. They were doing what they were told to do, ordered to do. And because of that, they were attacked. No policeman, no fireman, no ICE agent, no anybody who works for the government should be attacked, physically attacked for doing their job. By the way, most of this is caused by two different things. One is the illegal sanctuary cities. That's how we got all these, a lot, maybe not all, but a lot of illegal immigrants. It's contrary to law. This has been court tested. It's true the courts out there don't like it, but so far the Trump administration has received support, even in the Supreme Court, on their actions. They're operating within the law, and the last time I checked, national law was always more important, more powerful, had right behind it than a state or a city. In fact, if you want to put it on a level of authority or a level of responsibility, you have the government here, the federal government, then the state, then the city. This little city down here, I don't care how big it is, cannot tell the government what to do, the federal government what to do. They simply don't have that right. But that's what they do. The second thing is this. It's called Trump phobia, or a loose translation would be hatred of all things Trump. Trump's doing what he was elected to do, to bring this illegal immigration to a halt. Do I always agree with the methods? No, but they don't ask me either. The thing is that we all have our opinions as to how it should be done. Trump has the responsibility of getting it done, and therefore and stay within the law. And he seems to be managing to do that. This whole idea of him being a king or wanting to be a king is literally stupid. I can't think of another word for it. It's stupid. He has never expressed any kind of inclination for that. He is what he wanted to be. He is the president of the United States. That's more powerful than any king. He doesn't have absolute power, but and he can't, and he's not even trying to do it. He's working within the Constitution, not the Constitution that Pelosi and others have in their mind, but the Constitution that our forefathers wrote and fought for, and in some cases died for. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed today's episode, as I've tried to go through this and bring out some things that I think that need to be covered and looked at a little bit more closely than what the media does. I had to do a little bit of ciphering there because the whole thing was just, you could call it a hit job, the article. But in any case, if you've enjoyed this, then I hope that you have subscribed to my channel. It's right here. Just click on, you can go down there and click on it. If you haven't done so yet, please do. And then also, if you agree with me or disagree with me, feel free to leave a comment. All I ask is that you be civil in a discussion with me on it, and I'll respond, and I'll try to either respond there, or maybe something that will appear in a later episode. Well, that's it for today, and you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode.